Hey everybody, it's me, Travel 360. Oh man, I'm trying to come up with titles for these live chats, but it's really hard. You know what I should have done? I should have started numbering my lives. I should have started numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By now it would be on like 200 something probably. But at least then I wouldn't have to be thinking of ways to name these freaking things. Like, I don't know what you call a live stream that is about like, how are you doing? Let's talk a little bit about K-pop. Let's talk a little bit about the news. Let's talk a little bit about food. Like, how do you name something like that? Hey, Sarah. So, yeah, it would be nice if I had just started this whole process with just straight up naming these things like live 25, live 57, then my life would be easier. In fact, I'm almost tempted to go back and rename all of my lives and just start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. But I'm not doing that right now because that's work. And I'm not interested in doing any work this late at night. But anyway, hey y'all, how's it going? I just thought I'd get on and do a live stream because I was thinking about autumn, because that whole situation is so fucking sad. Also, I wanted to talk about the new NCT Dream album real quick. I still haven't listened to Wendy's album. I will eventually. It's not a priority for me right now to listen to Wendy's album. And I want to talk a little bit about uh the news. Well, kind of the news. I mostly want to talk about Diddy. And then I wanted to talk about what I'm eating lately and just, things I want to have happen in the next year. But yeah, it was going to be a hodgepodge of topics. And I just don't know what title I could have used that would have strung all that together and gotten the point across. And I've used Let's Chat before. I've used, Let's Just Talk, whatever. I've done all those things before. So it's just content creation is not as easy as people think it is. And I don't even consider myself a content creator. I just happen to be filming. But yeah, it's very difficult to be creative when that's not what you do for your life. Like I'm not in a creative space in terms of what I do for income. So I have a hard time being creative. So there you go. Anyway, let's start with Autumn. If you have not heard by now, because it's been all over K-pop social media for the last couple of days, Autumn from the group Tiara is in the hospital right now. Last reported she was unconscious, but she's in the hospital right now after having attempted to take her own life. And kind of the whole bullshit starts a while before now. Not that I'm saying that her attempt is bullshit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like all the bullshit that happened that led her to this point happened before we got here. This wasn't a sudden thing. So Tiara already issues because Tiara, of course, was uh, the victim of a bullying scandal that turned out to not be a bullying scandal, but instead was kind of like an anti-bully scandal. I don't know how to describe it. Basically, they had a girl in the group who lied and said that the group was bullying her. Fans concocted evidence by taking a lot of media appearances out of context to make it look like the group was bullying this girl, and it caused the downfall of Tiara pretty much in Korea. And then it came out later that this girl and her twin sister were lying and made all this stuff up because the sister was a bitch. So that's the long and short of the Tiara scandal. There are a lot of YouTube channels here on YouTube if you want to hear more about the Tiara scandal. There are also podcasts about it. It's a really important story in K-pop. So if you've never looked into it, I highly recommend it because not only is it a great story in K-pop in terms of like how media play can really just ruin things for people, but it also is a study in how media play in general ruins lives because things are so easily manipulated. And also like the undue burden that idols have to not be human. So anyway, after all the Tiara stuff, Autumn gets married to a man and I think she has 2 children with this man. And, people think she's living the happy married life. Her and her husband do go on a television show. It's like a family counseling, marriage counseling television show. And when they're on that show, they talk about some issues in their own marriage, how he was helping her overcome some of the PTSD from the whole bullying scandal. And, things seemed like they were getting better for her and her husband. Well, probably earlier this month, almost a month ago, she had told people that she was preparing for her second marriage. And people were like, what do you mean you're preparing for your second marriage? Aren't you still currently married to your husband? And she ends up having to tell people, I left my current husband. He is making it difficult for us to divorce. He is abusive to me. He is abusive to our children. He has thrown our baby on the bed. I think at one point there was a story, which I can't confirm, but I did read a headline saying that her husband had peed and defecated on the kids, which, if that is true, that is insane. But she did accuse him of striking her, beating her on the bottom of her feet, trying to choke her, keeping her locked up in her room, like a lot of domestic violence, in addition to him taking out loans in her name, racking up gambling debts, like just really being the villain from a fucking K drama. He's almost the husband from Marry My Husband, which is the last K drama I watched. Excellent K drama, by the way. But yeah, he's like cartoonishly villainous based on everything that she said about this man. And she had been releasing images of her body and some of the abuse that occurred to her. And things were just really kind of messy in the public sphere, but even messier, obviously, behind the scenes. Now, I couldn't tell you when she decided to leave her husband, how long she had been trying to separate from her husband so she could be with her new partner. There are also some people online who are saying that her new partner has been soliciting money from fans to help pay for her hospital stay. I will say that I saw a couple pictures of her new partner, and she's 29. I don't know if her new partner is younger or older than her, but he looks very smooth. That's the best way I could put it. Like, his look is almost like a highly filtered look. So yeah, I I don't know if he is somebody who is trustworthy or not, honestly, because I mean she thought her husband was trustworthy and he turned out to be terrible, so who knows? But obviously, if she decided to attempt to take her own life, at some point, all this had gotten to the hopeless stage for her, to a stage where she did not feel like she could escape the situation she's in and that her children would be better off without her. And for that, I am intensely, intensely empathetic and intensely sad for her. To be, I am a mother. You guys know that. You've met Stevie before. Uh, to be a mother, I've had some times, ups and downs in my life when my marriage went south and afterwards and trying to deal with co-parenting and everything else. There were times when all I wanted was to cry and possibly to run. Like I just wanted to escape things. But I never thought of taking my life because I always told myself, no matter what happens to me, my child needs me to be around. My child needs their mother because how can I protect them if I'm not here? And so for her to get to the point in her life where she felt like her children would be better off without her, and considering the fact that if she was to die, more than likely her current husband could take those kids. I don't know what custody is like in Korea, but I'm assuming that if it's like here in the United States, kids go with their living parent before they go with like a maternal grandparent. So, yeah, for her to believe that this is better than living for her kids, like that's a very hopeless spot to be in. And it's not a spot that I would ever want for anybody. So, I don't know, man. I'm really, really sad for her. I'm sad for what's going on with her. And also, it doesn't need to be said, but I'll say it anyway if it's not already clear. This is the end of her celebrity for Korea. And I say that not because I don't think she deserves to continue in the space, but if she was to continue, trying to work in Korea, it would be after issuing a series of apologies, going on shows and debasing herself, and being basically treated like a joke or a pariah. And so she spent her adult life cultivating a K-pop image, cultivating a celebrity image, cultivating an entertainment image. If her after this, there's a good chance she'll never be able to do the thing that she spent her adult life perfecting and earning her money with. And that's also incredibly sad that everything that she worked for could be thrown away like this. And I'm not one of those people to say that Western artists have it easier than K-pop artists and do all that, but I will say this much. I feel like artists in the West are allowed to have like messy personal lives and still be successful artists. I think they're allowed to get caught doing drugs, or they're allowed to get caught in messy, like, personal relationships with people and have breakups and maybe say some wild stuff on social media, as long as we're not talking like racism, homophobia, stuff like that, and still be allowed to progress. Whereas there's such a stranglehold on morality when it comes to K-pop, if you're trying to remain a star in Korea, that it doesn't allow people the time to breathe, and one wrong move can end everything for you, and that's got to be suffocating. I hate to think that my faves have to deal with that, but that seems to be par for the course. But yeah, I wish her the best in recovery. I hope that she can surround herself by people who are good for her. I hope that, I hope she wakes up. Straight talk. Before anything else, I hope she wakes up. I hope that she survives this. Because for her to be in a coma, remaining in a coma, we don't know if her physical condition is one that she can recover from. So I really and truly wish her the best. But I will say, anyone who's saying, oh, this is because of K pop, no, no. Yeah, being a K pop artist might have contributed a lot to this, but at the same time, if I had a man beating me at my house and beating on my children and not wanting to give me a divorce and putting me in financial ruin because they've gambled all the money away, I don't know that I'd be in a much better position than her either. So I'm not going to chalk this up to K-pop strikes again, because I just don't believe that to be true. But yeah, I wish the best for her. I wish the best for her. I saw someone typed a message about Chris Brown. Let's talk about Western artists being bad. Since I mentioned it when I first introed Diddy, uh, Sean Combs, known as Puff, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Brother Love, Love. He had all these monikers and nicknames. He got famous in the United States back in like the 90s, as a music label executive. And he is the one who discovered Notorious B.I.G., Craig Mack, a few other artists under his record label Bad Boy. And he became famous as a media personality, sometimes rapper, sometimes reality TV star, uh, Ciroc vodka impresario, a lot of different business ventures, but most of it surrounding hip hop and music. Well, I want to say early part of this year, he had an ex girlfriend by the name of Cassie who sued him for abuse, harassment, all kinds of things. And the charges that she waged against him in her civil lawsuit, let me say that, civil lawsuit. In America, there's two different kinds of judgments, there's civil and criminal. Civil means like a dispute between parties, it doesn't necessarily involve the breaking of any laws. Criminal being between two parties that involves the breaking of federal, state, local statute. So she accused him of raping her in their relationship, um, having other people come into their relationship to have sexual activity with her under duress, abusing her. At one point, she tried to leave him, and he set her boyfriend's car on fire. A lot of wild stuff against him. Well, she filed the lawsuit, and within days, in fact, I think within a day, he had settled with her, like paid her out. Then after that, more people started suing. One young lady sued because she said that she was raped by him during a recording session and that she was underage at the time. And these are all allegations, straight up. And then most recently, some producer of his latest album accused him of letting other celebrities molest him, exposing him to sex trafficking, witnessing Diddy have sex with underage women, and other crimes, other miscellaneous things, and also underpaying him as a producer. So I guess because of the onslaught of lawsuits, Diddy was like, hey, I'm tired of people calling me out my name, acting like I'm this bad guy. I'm not this bad guy, and I'm going to start fighting things in court. Well, 2 days ago, the federal government raided two of his homes looking for whatever it is they need to support a criminal case against him. And it's being rumored that this is related to sex trafficking. And one of his associates has recently been arrested and being accused of being a drug gopher, meaning that this person goes for him to find drugs and or women for Diddy to have sex with. And you guys don't know this. This is behind the scenes stuff with us. Every once in a while, I will do a live video about some hot topic in K-pop, and the stan of the person that I'm talking about who does not like what I have to say will leave me a rude comment. Most of the time, I do not delete those comments at all. But every once in a while, somebody will be so vitriolic in their comment that the system actually flags the comment and holds it for review. If you have a YouTube channel, you know what that means. So when I did the video about Hyuna dating the rape apologist, one of her fans left me a message saying, black woman spreading lies, you don't have anything to say about Diddy, which I had talked about the Cassie thing on my channel, I believe, briefly, but here we are talking about Diddy. So I know that person is not watching my channel because obviously they only came on there because they were mad about what I had to say about Hyuna dating a rape apologist. But just in case they're wondering, here we are talking about Diddy. But something that I was talking to my mom about today, which stands firm in my heart, and these are my personal beliefs, you don't have to agree with me. For years, people had put out rumors saying that P. Diddy was abusive, that he was a person who used women and was highly sexual, and that there was probably a lot of like illegal, illicit stuff happening. His artists complained about the fact that they were being stolen from, that he would not sell them the rights to their material after they left the label. He had one artist who says that he took a gun charge for Diddy. Like there's a lot of stuff that's been out there that has always been kind of an undercurrent of people talking about Diddy. In fact, I remember when Usher was first kind of introduced to the scene, he talked about being left with Diddy to go to boot camp. And after that, that kind of is why he was so cool and confident on songs. And somebody just addressed Usher in the comments here. So that's why that came to mind for me to talk about right now. But it was always a known thing that there's something weird about Diddy, but people did not talk about it openly because he was somebody who had a lot of influence. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire and has a lot of connections. There's literally a picture floating on the internet of him and Kanye hanging out with Prince William and Prince Harry. Like, so, I mean, we're talking about that level of influence. So nobody really wanted to like fight him on anything. Cassie's lawsuit is kind of what broke the floodgates open. For her to be as close as she was for as many years as she was, for her to be not afraid to challenge him, even though he literally could have killed her at any moment during the many offenses he committed against her, like that gave a lot of other people the bravery to speak. But what made a lot of black media outlets take this allegations against Diddy to be something more serious than they were previously is the fact that in the latest lawsuit that was filed against Diddy, the producer that sued him accuses him of having not only groomed Usher, but I guess having committed homosexual acts against Usher and having committed homosexual acts against a number of men in entertainment, including the producer himself, trying to get Cuba Gooding Jr., the actor, to have sex with him, some stuff like that. I don't know. It's all alleged. And it's crazy to me, and this may be just the inside community thing that I'm sharing with you, but when the stories were about women being abused, when the stories were about people financially being abused, it was under the radar, a buzz in the scene, but no one had anything to say. The minute it had to do with something homosexual, all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, lock him up. That dude's nasty. And it's just like, why is that what makes black men care? Why is it why is it such a big deal to be gay over it being a big deal that you abuse women, you possibly abuse children because Usher was definitely underage, that you are financially ruinous to people who trust you to build their careers? None of that is important enough if you got enough money, but possibly being accused of doing some gay stuff, that is what's going to make people turn against you. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. But one of the things me and my mom were talking about was the fact that a lot of times, because historically African Americans in the United States have been so powerless, a lot of times when you're a powerless population, there becomes subsets of power within the population. And just like, black men physically can overpower a black woman, it made that in black social circles, even though all of us are oppressed by the ruling class, within our circle, black men are elevated above black women. So stories about the sexual abuse of black women, the financial abuse of black women, if it's a black man committing it, not as big a deal because they're higher in the power structure. But because black women are seen as kind of a sexual component of the power of a black man, if a black man is accused of submitting to the same kind of sex that a black woman submits to, then that makes him a flawed man. That brings him down from his seat of power. And it's something that's infuriating because when George Floyd happened, when a lot of the BLM protests happened, when Tamir Rice and so many other black men were being beaten by police, abused by police, shot by neighbors, all these other things. It was black women, oftentimes trans black people, queer black people who were marching to the defense of black men. But when we've needed help, when we beg for people to say Breonna Taylor's name, it's like, okay, well, we have bigger fish to fry. And so when you have a black woman, Cassie, she's mixed, but she's still black woman saying that this man abused me, it's, oh, she's money hungry. Oh, she's just doing this for attention. But then when you have a black man saying, I too have been abused, all of a sudden it's, well, we got to get Diddy out the paint. Obviously, he's gone wild. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating how everything is handled. And honestly, if the music producer hadn't sued him and alluded to homosexual activities, probably all of the FBI raids or federal raids of his properties would be chalked up to, oh, they're just trying to bring a black man down. But now people are like, well, if he could be accused of diddling with Usher, then probably he is on some nefarious sick shit. And the feds probably do need to come get him, and it's just exhausting. It's really exhausting. So anyway, a little behind the scenes on that. Thought I'd share that with you. Other news stuff that's been on my mind recently. The Baltimore bridge collapse. Have y'all seen that video? That is fucking wild. Um, Literally, a floating city ran into a pillar on a bridge and brought that whole bridge down in what looked to be seconds, not even a minute. And I heard that they recovered two bodies, but there's still maybe four bodies missing from the collapse. But considering how long that bridge was, it could have been hundreds of people. Like literally, it could have been hundreds of people. They said 31,000 vehicles cross that bridge every single day. So take that 31,000 divided by 24 hours. Like if it had been high traffic times, there could have been hundreds of vehicles on that bridge, maybe even 1,000. So, I mean, it's horrible that anyone has to lose their life in a situation like this, but also a fucking miracle that less people ended up being caught up in this, really and truly. But the thing that bothers me about this news story, and kind of along with the Diddy thing, racism and misogyny seem to plague my life. But the mayor of Baltimore is a younger black man. I think he's in his 30s, maybe. He might be in late 20s. He looks very young. And then the mayor of Maryland, not mayor, the governor of Maryland is also a black man. But because the mayor of Baltimore is so young, he has a younger people's haircut and he wears younger people's facial hair. And he had on a Letterman jacket that had a patch on it that said City of Baltimore. Well, the racists and bigots of the world have been tweeting about how, oh, look at their woke mayor. And if they didn't have a woke mayor, this wouldn't have happened. And, DEI, which is the new euphemism for black shit, basically. It's the new N word. DEI stands for diversity, inclusion, inclusivity. That's what it stands for. But because a lot of diversity, equality, inclusivity programs are geared towards making things equitable between races, genders, sexuality statuses, a lot of the far right, pro white supremacy people of the world have been literally passing legislation to try to get rid of these programs. And they've accused DEI of being the cause of a weak America and weakening structures and all this horrible bullshit. But I say all that to say, they've been accusing DEI of the reason why this bridge collapsed and saying there's no way a boat running into the bottom of a bridge should knock a whole bridge down. Well, I looked at the video of the boat running into the bridge, and then I looked at pictures of the boat that is still sitting in the harbor, literally, with the bridge laying on top of it. That boat is almost as long as the section of bridge it took down. It is the size of a city block. It is stacked like a city block full of skyscrapers. I mean, tons and tons and tons of cargo are on this boat. This really isn't a boat. This is kind of like a floating city. A floating city ran into this bridge. That shit's going to knock down anything it hits, no matter what. The only thing it wouldn't be able to knock down is actually a cliff. So for the people saying that diversity, inclusion, equity has anything to do with this bridge collapsing, number one, don't understand physics, don't have common sense. Also, this was a Singaporean vessel. Had nothing to do with America and America's diversity initiatives. The boat was built during the time of Nixon, well before diversity initiatives were ever even thought of. It has nothing to do with that. The mayor of Baltimore having a Letterman jacket and a fresh haircut doesn't keep him from doing his job. Doesn't mean he's any less qualified. He's less qualified for his job because he has a sense of style and fashion. Okay, tell me you're jealous without telling me you're jealous. This is a human tragedy. What makes it even more tragedy, too, is because while they're hollering diversity initiatives are the reason why this happened, what is absolutely American is that the fact that the gentlemen who are missing were immigrant workers from, I want to say, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico, who were doing the jobs that most of the non-woke Americans wouldn't do, filling in potholes on a bridge and they died doing the jobs that the people who are hollering diversity don't want to do, would never do. And their deaths are being belittled in favor of headlines saying how this bridge collapse is going to keep people from getting their Amazon deliveries. It's going to slow down capitalism for the people who live off capitalism's teat. But there are bodies that have yet to be recovered. Families waiting to hear what happened. Can we have a funeral? Do we just have to have a memorial? Sometimes I get real frustrated being an American because the news makes me want to cry. But I am here because I master absolutely no language skills at all. But yeah, I want to talk about that because that's the world that I live in as well. Speaking of languages, I saw a tweet about a K-pop group that is debuting that is three idols, and they're debuting on like Korean Disability Day or something, but they are hearing impaired and they're going to be doing their song in Korean, American, and International Sign Language. I mean, it sounds gimmicky to me, but at the same time, I think that's super cool. So if that's something you want to check out, just, type in the keywords on the Google machine, in the Twitters, and find out more about it. But I thought that was really, really cool. I don't know why, but I'm always jealous of people who speak languages. Like my whole life, I've been jealous of people who speak other languages. I lived in Germany when I was a kid. I speak no German. I literally can sing the alphabet song in German and I can count to 10 in German. And that is it. I don't speak German at all. I lived in El Paso for a number of years. I don't speak Spanish. I can understand bits and pieces of Spanish. If it's a song that I really love, I can memorize the chorus and pronounce it pretty decently. I do not speak Spanish. I've been listening to K-pop for now 12 years, a little over 12 years. I do not speak Korean. There's whatever that piece of your brain is that controls language. I have barely been able to capture all of my English skills. And even then, I have the English speaking level of like a really smart eighth grader. I'm not high level in the vocab department when it comes to my own language. So I'm always pro anybody who can speak anything other than their base language. I'm like, you are the one, you are the pro. I'm proud of you. And it's funny because I've been seeing on Twitter two signs. One sign is from, hey, Ulysses. One sign was from a Japanese restaurant, like, we only speak Japanese. We do not speak any other language. If you do not speak Japanese, you may not want to shop here. To me, sounds super polite, sounds really nice. People had a problem with that sign. Meanwhile, in Thailand, there was a sign that said, do you speak Thai? When you can speak Thai, you can talk about our English. Love you. And I was like, that's the energy I want to see. If you think it's rude to say, I only speak one language, and if you need somebody to speak another language, I can't help you. If you think that shit is rude, then don't talk to me about what I speak unless you speak what I speak as well. So, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. That was fun. Let's talk about some more K-pop stuff. Let's talk about the new NCT Dream album. I love it. I do. I am somebody, and I talked about this when I did the top 30 video, which if you go back on my channel, I did a top 30 of 2023 video. One of my favorite videos I've ever made. Yes, also Thailand got gay marriage. I did not mention that, and I should have when I mentioned Thailand because that's super important, especially as a fan of BLs. This has been something that has literally been like a dream in different BL shows that I've watched. I watched one BL show where one of the characters was going to a rally to try to get gay marriage legalized. Anyway, they are actually going to start recognizing gay marriage in Thailand. And it's a beautiful thing. We talk all the time about the misogyny and the patriarchy and the homophobia, queerphobia in America, but in Asian countries, it's even worse. And Thailand's got a few neighbors who are beyond bad. Like Indonesia, Malaysia, you better not go there talking no gay shit. You better not, because you might end up in jail. You might get hurt for real, for real. And so to be that close to neighbors who do not feel the same way and saying, we're standing on business, we're recognizing it here, that's wonderful to me. I think that's amazing. Also, it makes me hope that some of my faves will actually be able to get married. There's one Thai BL actor whose name is New Year, and him and his husband, I think his husband's name is Both, Both. Him and his husband are so adorable. They've been together for years. They call each other husband, but they're not legally married in their home country because it's never been an option. So I'm hoping that with their engagement, they got engaged last year, I hope that they're able to get married. I hope that, when Mew decides that he wants to get married, that he'll have a chance to get married. I don't know if he's going to marry his current partner. I don't want to pressure people into relationships, but, it'll be nice for people who have had long relationships and want to be able to look out for their partner and join their life with their partner to be able to do so under the law. So that is a victory for us all, in my opinion. But back to NCT Dream. NCT Dream, I talked about it during my top 30 video, which again, one of my favorite videos I've ever done. Highly recommend you watch it, especially because I had a Spotify playlist to go with it. I talked about how when NCT Dream first debuted, I could not get into them. I think it was Bubblegum was the first song. I'm trying to remember, was it Bubblegum? I was just like, this is not for me. This is not for me. They are literally infants. I think one of them is 12. I cannot do this. So, me personally, just couldn't get into Dream. They got older, as one wants to do. Chewing gum. I knew it had something to do with gum. See, that's why I need y'all to correct me. I'm literally your old, dementia-laden aunt. But yeah, I couldn't get into the chewing gum thing. And as they got older, I'm like, good for you. Glad things are working out for you. But I still think y'all are babies. And so I just never really paid a lot of attention to Dream. And then I listened to the album that they have that is what is the name of the album? See, again, losing my fucking mind. It's the album that they have that is like a Christmassy looking album. I bought like the little, uh, look at me, already I'm showing my age. The little SM mini CD thing, I bought one of those for a Dream album because I loved the cover art and I thought it was super duper cute. And I was like, okay, I think I can get down with Dream. Then ISTJ came out, I believe. And I was like, this album is okay. I remember really liking Yogurt Shake. I remember thinking Yogurt Shake was a really good song. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll check out Dream with the next release they have because I'm really enjoying the music. I am liking the way that they sound. They do actually sound different from NCT 127. I like that it's a smaller group of boys. I'll go ahead and I'll check them out. Also, everybody's finally grown. I not that I plan to lust after any of them, but like literally I needed everybody to be grown because if they start talking about stuff that's like having to do with anything sexual, I'm gonna feel bad listening to children sing about sexual stuff. So that's why I was like, I need y'all to grow up first because I can't have you thrusting crotches at me or doing licking your lips or any of that kind of stuff if you are underage because that's not how I party. I don't get down like that. So anyway, I decided to listen to their new album, and I think it's amazing. I think it's one of the best things that SM has put out in a long while. I can't feel anything. What a wonderful song. What a wonderful song. It's experimental, but it's experimental in a way that is very different than the noise music that NCT 127 usually does. It's experimental in that you can tell that like whoever came up with the ideas for this song is like they're thinking ahead to where this group can go, where they can expand as artists. But even further down on the list, I think Smoothie's a good song. It's not my favorite song. Smoothie. It's not my favorite song, but I think it's okay. It's decent for a title track. But Box is really good. I really like Box. I liked Unknown. I thought that was a really good song. Um, is Carrot Cake? Carrot Cake is this Jersey club type of hip hop song. Really, really good. And then Breathing is a great ending for this album because when you loop it back to I Can't Feel Anything, it works. Like I don't know if it's just because Taeyong's about to be shipped off to the military, so they're like, okay, we can devote all our time to Dream because the leader of 127 is gone. But this Dream album is really doing it for me. At 6 songs, all 6 songs work. All 6 songs work. And that's a rare thing to say with SM a lot of the time because they love to sneak you something wild and weird just to see what your reaction will be to it. But I really feel like there was a lot of care taken into the 6 songs we got on this new Dream release and I dig it. I'm not gonna buy it because I'm not buying K-pop, but if I was buying K-pop, I would have bought this. This would be worth my money because it's really, really nice. Really, really nice. And it makes me want to listen to more K-pop, honestly. I on Spotify they have like the new K-pop list that they do. Hey David. Um they have like the new K-pop list where like all the new releases in K-pop you can listen to like a single from an album or whatever. And I listen to that. I don't always love everything I hear and the list that I listen to, it has like ballads and other stuff in it. It's not just strictly like K-pop. Anyway, I find myself a lot of the time just kind of skipping my way through that list, trying to get where I'm going. But Dream, like they made me want to stop and listen. And I think that's a really good move for them. I will say though, based on the teaser images for this album, I had no idea this album was going to sound like this. I really didn't. Like the teaser images were like kind of haunted boys reformatory and it looks like the boys were being beaten. It it's dark. It didn't make any sense to me. I would never have guessed that the song Smoothie went with those teaser images. I would like us to start signing a petition saying the teaser images need to match the song, God damn it. But I digress. But yeah, it really made me happy. It really made me happy. I really liked it, and it's one of the few K-pop things that have stood out to me recently. There's one other K-pop thing that stood out to me recently, but I don't know the name of the group. Okay, you guys have to help me with this one because I know for a fact I cannot remember the name of this group. There is a group out that is an all-girl group, but they're doing like hip hop. They're not like a K-pop girl group. They're a hip hop group. And I heard them on my new releases list and their song very much sounded like no, it's not it's a K-pop group. It's not XG. It's not XG because the hip hop they're doing sounds like super early BTS 90s inspired hip hop. See, this is why y'all have to let me get out the full sentence. It's like I don't know how to describe it, but it's very like wiki wiki 90s hip hop sounding rap, but it is a group of all Korean girls doing hip hop. I wish that I had another phone in my hand so I could look it up. It's not Kiss of Life. I know Kiss of Life. I wish I could look it up so I could tell you what it is. Yes, Young Posse. Thank you, Esther. I knew somebody would get it. I knew somebody would get it. Yes, Young Posse. I heard their song on the K-pop playlist, and I was like, you know what? I see it for these girls. I see it for these girls. Because on the one hand, the history of all girl K-pop hip hop groups has been dicey. I don't want to have to walk you through everything, but lip service comes to mind. Like when a K-pop girl group leans too far into hip hop, you either get like a bunch of beautiful girls twerking or you get a bunch of girls who are trying to rap but they're trying to be cute at the same time and the music just comes out wild and weird and uncomfortable for everybody involved. But I feel like when I hear Young Posse, obviously you can tell that their whole, yes, What's Up is a great example. That poor girl with the tan skin, they gave her fucking hell. Anyway, going back. Uh when I think about these girls, I can tell that it's either 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds who are writing their material, maybe even a couple of 50-year-olds thrown in there. Definitely people who were teenagers during the 90s who are wanting to bring back that style, that scene. But I feel like it's also people who studied that style a long time and said, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right and we're going to make it sound maybe not authentic, but it's sincere to that time period, to that style. We're not going to try to hybrid it up too much, and we're not going to make these girls sound like idiots. And I think they did a good job with that. Obviously, still, I do not speak Korean, but when I was listening to the song, I'm like, nothing on here is setting my teeth on edge. Nothing on here is making me feel embarrassed for these girls. And I really appreciated that. So I'm going to check out their full release because, like I said, I only listened to the single, but I'm going to check out their full release. And I really hope this works for them because I am all about K pop hitting new places, K pop exploring other genres within K pop. And, just doing something different, something new, something fun. Also, like a group of girls, like really doing the thing when it comes to like rapping. God, I need that. I can't, like, there's always been like good women rappers in K pop. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that women in K pop cannot rap, but the trend seems to be one really awesome, amazing female rapper, one girl who can't sing very well, so she is the like second rapper in the group, and then all the rest of the girls are singers and maybe like a lead dancer who also raps because they're a dancer. And that's fine, but wouldn't it be great to have like a female version of BTS, if you will, where there's like three really strong rappers in the group and then some fire vocals? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great to have somebody who's like not the only whiz in their group while everyone is being super poppy, but like there's multiple very talented rappers in the group? I don't know. I want more. I want more. I really, really do. I want more for everybody. So that's why I enjoyed the song. I look forward to seeing what else these girls can do. I hope they have a good career because we could always use the variety. But other than that, I haven't really been listening to a ton of music in general. I think the last full album I listened to, besides the latest NCT Dream project, is I listened to the entirety of the Ariana Grande project, and I listened to the entirety of the Justin Timberlake project. I listened to the Justin Timberlake project while I was on the way to go see Madonna, and beautiful gowns, beautiful gowns. Uh, Justin Timberlake is, for a while there, Justin Timberlake was my problematic fave for a good while. I would say up until Man of the Woods, Justin Timberlake was my problematic fave. Because E Seraphim's mini is good too. I did not mention that and I should have. Easy is a fucking earworm. I don't want to hear anybody's anything about Easy. Easy is that girl. She just is. Fuck what you heard. Fuck what you think. Easy is that girl. Damn, I really make it look easy. Come on. Come on. That's the type of song that makes you want to box. It makes you want to do this number and get in the streets. I love Easy, but I like Ear Seraphim. I think that they're a cool group. It's unfortunate they have one member that is so incredibly young, but you know, it is what it is. We literally just got through talking about Dream. They were incredibly young when they started. I think the difference is that when it comes to boys who are super young, it seems like K-pop companies aren't incentivized to hypersexualize young boys. There's not a market full of Ajumas out there waiting for these young boys to shake shorts in front of them. But when it comes to these uncle fans, they're like, the younger, the better. Bring them out. So anyway, outside of it being uncomfortable for people seeing a young girl shaking it, which I totally get where they're coming from, I just really, really dig E Seraphim. So tis what tis. But yeah, damn, I got myself completely distracted. Justin Timberlake. Let's go back. So when I met Justin Timberlake, I remember not paying any attention to him. And the reason I didn't pay any attention to Justin Timberlake when I met Justin Timberlake in terms of like media wise, I'm about to change out earbuds. Hold on. As maybe